Hey, Ryan. Hi, this is Sarah Palin.
Ryan, Donald Trump Jr.
Hogs to win, see you. Hey, everybody, I want y'all to check out a fellow Marines podcast.
My name is Ted Nugent, and I got a call from my buddy Ryan F. Samuels, and he wants me to tell you that he's a working hard, playing all-American son of a who is celebrating God, family, country.
Welcome to the Ryan Samuels Show, one of the top political podcasts in the United States, where we have a healthy distrust for government and mainstream media. The Ryan Samuels Show is a raw, unfiltered look at American politics. Follow on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Rumble, and all podcast platforms. Here is your host, Ryan Samuels.
Hello, Patriots. This is Ryan Samuels, and this is the Ryan Samuels Show. Thank you for tuning in. We are going to have a really fun night tonight. Now, last night, Gavin Newsom and Ron DeSantis, they debated. And the left has taken to Twitter and declared that Gavin Newsom destroyed Ron DeSantis, and I don't understand. It doesn't make sense how anybody could think that. I think that Ron DeSantis did a really good job, but I also think that Gavin Newsom kind of did his best. I mean, it's really hard to. It's incredibly challenging to defend the state of California and everybody on earth leaving the state of California. And it's really hard to defend Joe Biden's record. I mean, the economy's in shambles. No matter what they try to tell you, you know it. Everybody knows when they go to the grocery store or when they go to get gas that the economy is not as good as it was under Donald Trump. Like Donald Trump, love Donald Trump, hate Donald Trump. The economy was better under Donald Trump. Period. Point blank. There's no discussion. There's no debate. Significantly better. And that's really challenging to do. But I think that Newsom did the best that he could with it. But that didn't stop the left from taking to Twitter and declaring victory. There were a few key moments where just DeSantis completely obliterated Newsom. Here, let's listen to this. Hold on, let me fix the sound on that. But there was a few moments, and I think that that people know that regardless of what the left tries to say on Twitter or anywhere for that matter.
A terrorist attack at some point that we'll be able to trace back to our southern border.
God forbid. By the way, do you see that risk, Governor Newsom?
Hold on.
Governor, I mean, do you see the risk?
So they're talking about the border here, and basically the entire night, Gavin Newsom really didn't answer any questions. Even basic stuff, he deflected and dodged, and like, this is a simple question. So they're talking about the border, and Ron DeSantis is like, yeah, no, I think that there will be at some point a terrorist attack that we could trace back to our southern border if we do not get the border under control. And then Hannity asked Newsom, do you think that the border is a danger to America? And no response. Listen.
There will be, unfortunately, a terrorist attack at some point that we'll be able to trace back to our southern border.
God forbid. By the way, do you see that risk, Governor Newsom?
Hold on.
Governor,
I mean,
do you see the risk?
Joe Biden put out not only a comprehensive plan, he consistently puts up plans. Hold on, no, but Sean,
is there a risk?
I'm going to answer your question. I support border security. I think the asylum system is broken. I believe that we need.
I understand that.
I'm the only guy here that's a border state governor. You're trolling folks and trying to find migrants to play political games to try to get some news and attention so you can out-Trump Trump. And by the way, how's that going for you, Ron? You're down 41 points in your own home state. On the issue of immigration, Joe Biden put a $14 billion immigration package up in front of Congress. 23.
There will be, unfortunately, a terrorist attack.
So a decent moment there for Newsom. I mean, he's not wrong. DeSantis is way behind Trump. And, every time they indict Trump, there was a new study that came out. I wish I would have pulled it up. But there was a new study that came out that every time they indict Trump, his numbers go up. His favorability and likability goes through the roof. So that's, if this was a normal election, I think Ron DeSantis would be the front runner. If we didn't have such political turmoil around Trump and the base really rallying behind him and supporting him as he gets indicted and faces these criminal charges, that Ron would be the clear choice for president. And I think he will be in 2028. But it's really hard. I'm going through some of Gavin Newsom's posts on what he thinks are highlights from the night. They talked about everything. They talked about Hamas. They talked about the banning of books, the homeless problem. And let's watch this clip right here.
What's wrong with Toni Morrison's books?
It's not banned.
What's wrong? It's not true.
Not.
What's wrong with Amanda Gorman's?
It's not banned.
And the poetry. 1,406. 1,406 books.
So he's saying that there's 1,476 or 406 books banned. That's not true. That's not true. And none of these books, I think there's like 170 that were age restricted or something. And like 93% of them were actual pornography. I mean, there's a moment in the debate where he holds up a photo of a sex scene in one of these books, and it's very graphic. Two men doing it, and this is the kind of stuff they want your children to be reading in school. But that's just not true.
Have been banned on your banning binge in the state of Florida. As it relates to parental rights, come on, California, it's in our Constitution, parental engagement. It's called the LCFF process. We actually require parental engagement on curriculum development. And we don't, complete lie, we don't require K through third grade sexual education. That doesn't happen until middle school. What you're doing is using education as a sword for your cultural purge. And you know what, with all due respect, I remember in the 1970s, we had a bill called the Briggs Initiative. And there was a guy by the name of Ronald Reagan, so offended by the Briggs Initiative, which was the original Don't Say Gay bill. In that case, it was not allowing teachers that happened to be gay to teach. And Reagan had the courage to stand up, and he said, you can't catch gay like you can measles. I don't like the way you demean people. I don't like the way you demean the LGBTQ community.
And here's the offensive. Oh, you're offensive. You're demeaning. You're marginalizing people. Like, this is the left's only argument. You're a racist. You're a homophobe. You're a Nazi.
I don't like the way you demean and humiliate people you disagree with, Ron. I really find this fundamentally offensive. And this is a core value that distinguishes the values of my state and, frankly, the vast majority of Americans against the weaponization of education and the purging that he's advanced.
I don't like the way you demean people. I mean, because I disagree. Because he disagrees with you. Here's another clip from the educational portion here.
The book banning issues, is that not a state issue? Is that a state issue or a local issue?
Local, and he's
okay. That's all I want to know.
The home book wasn't
but
there. That was
the
not
question I have.
1,400
here's the
books
question I have for you, Governor Newsom. Some of the books you're talking about, one is called, the governor just brought it up, it's called Gender Queer, a memoir, explicit.
So this is the U.S. News and World Report on Education Data Initiative data, right? The Census Bureau, National Center for Education Statistics. California versus Florida on education. Florida is ranked #1 on education by U.S. News. California is ranked number 20 by U.S. News. Florida spends about $12,000 per student on K through 12 educations. California spends $16,000. So they're spending more and getting less.
Pornographic book showing sex acts. Another, Flamer, graphic book about young boys performing sex acts at summer camp. This book is gay, a book containing instructions on the ins and outs of gay sexuality. Let me finish. Let's Talk About It, a book that contains graphic descriptions about how to masturbate for males and females. My question to you, Governor Newsom, those books, do you believe that's appropriate for school districts to teach kids, yes or no?
Come on, those aren't it's not part of the curriculum. They're not teaching
Excuse me,
kids
those are books that were in school.
Hold on. The bottom line is
Not answering the question again.
you are on a book banning binge, your state.
Deflecting back to DeSantis, you're on a book banning binge in your state. These are pornographic books.
1,406 books, 3,362 in this country.
You didn't answer.
Florida's
what about
leading,
those books?
Florida. That's not. We don't provide for K through third grade education.
K through third grade, we don't provide it. But fourth graders, yeah, let's watch some gay porn.
That kind of curriculum, it's just made up. These guys make it up. It's part of this cultural purge.
Should it
it's
be?
just a made
what grade? What grade would it be acceptable?
What I find offensive, Sean and Ron, what I find offensive is a very significant number of these books.
What I find offensive, I'm offended.
Happen to be LGBTQ books. A significant number of these books happen to be about African Americans.
Do you think it's
so you're racist and you're homophobic? That's what I find offensive about this. Not the fact that it's porn in school. That's not offensive.
Governor,
I told
do you think it's appropriate in school?
We don't teach that. We have sex education in middle schools and high schools where it's appropriate. This is a ginned up, made up issue to divide this country. You talk about dividing this country. This is part of the culture war, the weaponization of grievance. This is part using education. We're focusing on math, science. We're focusing on reimagining our school system.
We're going to get to education
He's criminalizing teachers and criminalizing librarians. Check out the wrong book.
The schools to impose a liberal agenda, social justice. They have this ethnic studies where they're dividing people. That's what they're doing. But let me just say something about parents' rights, because he says California respects parents' rights. This is rich. He's been telling a lot of whoppers tonight. This may be the biggest. In California, if you're a parent in Iowa or New Hampshire or South Carolina, your minor child can go to California without your knowledge or without your consent and get hormone therapy, puberty blockers, and a sex change operation, all without you knowing or consenting.
That's 100% true. And Gavin Newsom saying, oh, no, the parents have a choice. The parents don't have a choice in that stuff. In California, the schools aren't even required to tell the parents if a child wants to have a sex operation, and they go to the teachers in schools for help. And not to mention people from out of state, which is just insanity.
How in the heck is that honoring parents' rights when you're bringing people from out of state to go around their parents' backs and getting life-altering surgeries? That is radical. That is
Ron,
extreme.
these kids
that is an assault on parents' rights.
And listen, so he's not, if you heard that, he's saying, listen, Ron, these kids just want to live. And I really wish Ron would have just let him speak at this point, because he would have buried himself. But you'll see what happens.
Right.
You know what, Ron?
It's not for you to decide. It's for the parents to decide. And the parents do not want their kids going to these.
These kids just want to survive.
Honestly,
let me
these
go
kids
to a
have the
follow-up.
highest suicide
Let me
rates
stay on
in
a
the
follow-up.
country.
Let's
They wanna
turn to the
survive.
issue of
Where's your
education.
decency and humanity?
Where's your decency and humanity that we're doing this without parents' consent?
And
The
grace when it
decency
comes
of
to these
taking,
things.
ripping somebody away
Gentlemen,
from
please.
their families,
No, nobody can.
taking them to
Nobody can hear you.
That is
the Ron
wrong.
DeSantis
That is
brand.
wrong.
I'll tell you,
All right.
That should
America's
not stand
buying
in
it.
this
Ron,
country.
I really wish you would have let him speak, because Gavin Newsom would have buried himself. And he would have tried to defend that from people from other states. And it just would have been completely unrecoverable. But hindsight's always 20/20. Always 20/20.
The role of the schools to educate kids, not indoctrinate kids. It's not to impose an agenda. It's to do the basics. And what we've said in Florida is it's inappropriate to tell a kindergartner that their gender is a choice. It's inappropriate to tell a second grader that they may have been born in the wrong body. Now, California has that. They want to have that injected into the elementary school. My wife and I have a 7-5 and a 3-year-old. We don't think that that's appropriate. And I know most parents do not think it's appropriate. It's also important to respect parental rights to know what curriculum is being used in the classroom, and everything should be age appropriate. I actually have something that I brought that some parents have objected to. So this is a book that's in some of the schools in California.
So This is one of the greatest moments of the night. He pulls out one of the pornographic books, and it's a kid. It's a couple of teenage boys having sex with each other and giving each other fellatio, and it's actually depicting penetration. And this is the stuff they have in schools.
Florida, this is not consistent with our standards, called gender queer. Some of it's blacked out. You would not probably be able to put this on air. This is pornography. It's cartoons. It's aimed at children, and it's wrong. So this should not be in schools. When people like on the left say that somehow you're banning books by removing this from a young kid's classroom. No, this is not age appropriate. And so we're going to stand for the rights of parents. I think we need to do that nationwide. I don't think you can have a situation where some states just trample on the rights of parents. Parents have a fundamental right to direct the education and upbringing of their kids.
Gavin Newsom just died inside with that. Gavin Newsom will just died inside. But and he just keeps trying to justify all of his failures, all of Joe Biden's failures. He's trying to say that Joe Biden is really, really ready to continue leading. Listen to this.
And in other words, it's the toughest job in the world. Is Joe Biden experiencing this cognitive decline? Is it a danger to the country? Do you find when he speaks, what is your reaction to it?
Yes, he's in decline. Yes, it's a danger to the country. He has no business running for president. And, Gavin Newsom agrees with that. He won't say that. That's why he's running his shadow campaign. He should not be running. He is not up to the job. And it is dangerous for this country.
Well, I will take Joe Biden at 100 versus Ron DeSantis any day of the week at any age. In fact, all of the folks
you think he's up to the job?
Trail.
You think he's 100%?
I've been spending
100%?
plenty of time with Joe Biden in private and public. You don't know. And by the way, results matter. Inflation now is down to 3.2%. Wages are up to 4.4%. The economy is booming, 5.2% GDP growth in the last quarter. Those are facts you don't hear on Fox News. 14 million jobs, 10 times more than the last 3.
Let me move on. That was the light.
Deflect to the economy. I don't understand how anybody could say. I think Newsom had maybe a couple of moments, but to say that he won the election won the debate is just doesn't make any sense. Let's look at this other clip.
They tax too much. They regulate too much. They have a political agenda. It's not a good climate for business. They've lost a lot of companies. A lot of companies have moved to Texas. We have had some to Florida, but they've lost a lot of companies to Texas because they're not doing a good job looking out for folks and not creating a good business environment. And, when I have people that come to Florida, they tell me, you guys actually want us to succeed in Florida. And they feel like when they're in California, they don't want business to succeed.
Is that what Disney's saying, the Tampa Bay Rays?
Well, actually, yeah. I think that's an interesting point with Disney because I had Disney open during COVID, and we made them a fortune, and we saved a lot of jobs. You had Disney closed inexplicably for over a year. You were not following science. You were a lockdown governor. You did a lot of damage to your people. You had more kids locked out of school for a longer period of time in California than anywhere else in the country. It was the working class kids. It was the middle income kids. His kids were in private school. They were in class in person.
We'll get to COVID.
He locked people out because of the teachers' union. He is owned by the teachers' union. You will never cross the teachers' union.
This is just a lot of hot air.
Lock, stock, and barrel.
Let's talk about COVID.
So, that's true. So the Democrats are owned by the unions. If you look up the statistics, they're just completely, all of their funding comes from unions. It's like 60% of their funding comes from teachers' unions and labor unions and all of this. They also talked about China and Newsom's trip to China. And, first of all, Gavin Newsom is running a shadow campaign. You cannot deny that. The guy is going to China. He's debating one of the top presidential candidates for 2024 in a debate. He's running for president, not telling anybody about it for 2024. He's gearing up for 2028, or he's going to run or Joe Biden's going to make him vice president and get rid of that nightmare of Kamala Harris. Just get rid of her. Or he's just campaigning for Joe Biden because Joe Biden can't do it. He can't do it. Joe Biden couldn't get on a stage and go toe-to-toe with Ron DeSantis. There's no way. He would be destroyed.
Well, first, in Florida, we banned China from buying land in our state because you're right. You don't want them buying farmland or land near military bases. So we acted. We also got the Confucius Institutes out of our universities. China should not be involved in our universities at all. What you need to do is you need to have hard power in the Indo-Pacific to deter China's ambitions. You need to take the economy and we need to decouple from China. We're dependent on them for so many things. And then finally, we need to get serious about their influence in this country. They shouldn't be able to buy farmland anywhere. I can tell you this, I would not go to China and grovel in front of Xi like Gavin Newsom did. He says China's a partner on climate change. China's adding 2 new coal plants every year. China's laughing at us with what they're doing. So yes, they're the number one threat we face, and we need to take it seriously, and Joe Biden is not doing that. Well, first, in Florida.
I love his smug little look on his face at Newsom. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. This is probably the best clip of the night here. I think this is the best clip of the night, and you can actually see, Gavin Newsom just die inside, and it's amazing.
Here's what I would say. I talked to a lot of the people that have moved from California to Florida, and we never used to get people from California to Florida or really anywhere in these, because why would you leave California? It's got the best weather, great natural forces. Excuse me, sir. But one of the things that I did, I was talking to a gentleman,
Guys, I'm going to let the debate breathe. But it's his turn. Let's take turns.
So I was talking to a fella who had made the move from California to Florida, and he was telling me that Florida is much better governed, safer, better budget, lower taxes, all this stuff. And he's really happy with the quality of life. And then he paused and he said, by the way, I'm Gavin Newsom's father-in-law. So we do count Gavin's in-laws as some of the people that have fled California and come to the state of Florida. And why are we getting people to come? We have a 50-year low in the crime rate. You don't see in the last 10 years, we've had a 45% decline in homelessness. California's had a 45% increase in homelessness. We back the blue. I was walking the streets of San Francisco a couple months ago, and I had some of the cops in San Francisco do a beeline to come over to me, and I didn't know what they were going to say. And they're like, we want to thank you for standing for law enforcement because we don't get that support in the state of California. So people understand quality of life matters. They understand that Florida's doing it right. And I can tell you the numbers speak for themselves. We have way more people moving to this state than leaving. Gavin can't say the opposite. More people are leaving California than are moving into California.
His own father-in-law. That's amazing. Here's another moment. I think Ron did very well. I think he did. I don't think it's going to help him in this presidential election because I don't think anybody's going to beat Trump in the primary. I don't. He's got there's too much controversy over the indictments, and the entire base is rallying behind him. If this was another election, I think Ron would be the clear choice, like I said earlier. Let's listen to this clip.
Homeless encampment under a freeway and even light it on fire. You have the freedom to have an open-air drug market and use drugs. You have the freedom, if you're an illegal alien, to get all these taxpayer benefits. So those are freedoms. They're not the freedoms our founding fathers envisioned, but they have contributed to the destruction of the quality of life in California, and the results speak for themselves. People are leaving the state because they have failed in addressing the homeless population. Well, at one point, tried to say that California was the freedom state. And I just kind of laughed, like you're locking people down, you're doing all this. But then I thought about it. California does have freedoms that some people don't, that other states don't. You have the freedom to defecate in public in California. You have the freedom to pitch a tent on Sunset Boulevard. You have the freedom to create a homeless encampment under a freeway and even light it on fire. You have the freedom to have an open-air drug market and use drugs. You have the freedom, if you're an illegal alien, to get all these taxpayer benefits. So those are...
That was another great moment where Newsom just died inside. And, I mean, there really wasn't any really moment for I mean, there are a couple of good moments for Newsom, but I don't think enough to swing the debate. But yet, all over Twitter, we'll get to that in a second. I want to show you this video of actually what the homeless problem looks like in California. But the notion that California is a good state, or any democratic policy is good for Americans, is good for the economy, you have to be just out of your mind. You have to be just insane.
Back in Sacramento, California, where Gavin Newsom wants you to believe that they're fixing the problem with homelessness. This is Gavin Newsom's California. If you like poverty, keep voting for Democrats. If you like drug use being promoted in public, keep voting for Democrats. If you like human feces on your sidewalks and homeless encampments in front of your businesses, if you like higher taxes, higher gas prices, and a lower standard of living, if you like BLM thugs being able to rob at will while law-abiding citizens are criminalized by liberal DAs, if you like illegal aliens invading our country while homeless veterans sleep outside, if you like men being able to use your daughter's restrooms and play on your daughter's sports teams, if you like giving away our weapons to terrorist organizations and sending billions of dollars to fight other nations' wars while our country's going bankrupt, if you like politicians who always promise but never deliver, then just keep voting for Democrats.
Hey, look at this.
But if you're as sick of this as I am, stop voting for them.
Wise words from Real America's Voice. Stop voting for Democrats. A vote for Democrats, you're hurting yourself, and it doesn't help you. It doesn't help you. These people will spend you into oblivion. These people will make sure that illegal immigrants get benefits before you do. And to continue down, the definition of sanity is doing the same thing and expecting different results. So Democrats don't work. They don't work. If every city run by Democrats is a disaster. It's a disaster. Chicago, New York, Los Angeles, all of California, just insane. But, the notion that Democrats are going to do anything I'm trying to pull up a video here. Let's look at this. The Chicago mayor, now they have 100% Democratic control over the entire state, over the entire city of Chicago, and this is what they got migrants running all over the place, spending all their money on migrants, and this is what he has to say about the problem.
Go back to Brandon. Chicago's woke mayor wants to blame everyone but himself.
What we've seen is a very raggedy form instituted by right-wing extremism. Everyone knows that the right-wing extremism in this country has targeted democratically ran cities, and quite frankly...
How have they targeted democratically ran cities? You're the Democrat.
They've been very intentional about going after democratically ran cities that are led by people of color. It's the same Republican right-wing extremism that stormed the Capitol. It's the same right-wing extremism that refuses to accept the results of the Civil War. They're still mad that a black man is free in this country. This is nothing new, but aren't you glad that the soul of Chicago won't be broken? And those are the words of, I think, Beyonce. You won't break our soul.
What a disaster. What a disaster. So, how are you blaming the right for a city you have complete control over? a state you have complete control over. It's right-wing extremists. Have we just accepted the Civil War, Black Lives Matter wouldn't be burning the city down. We wouldn't have homeless camps all over California. Ludicrous, to say the least. Guys, thank you for tuning in. This is the Ryan Samuel Show. Make sure you hit that like button. You follow us for more content. And on the podcast, please leave a review. Thank you for tuning in. We will see you next time.
Hey, Ryan. Hi, this is Sarah Palin.
Ryan Donald Trump Jr. Hogs to win, see you. Hey, everybody, I want y'all to check out a fellow Marines podcast.
My name is Ted Nugent, and I got a call from my buddy Ryan F. Samuels, and he wants me to tell you that he's a working hard, playing all-American son of a who is celebrating God, family, country.
Welcome to the Ryan Samuel Show.